Hey everybody, and welcome to our early comics review video. I'm Andy.
I'm Matt.
We're here with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, and this is our big show where we show you some of the biggest and best books that are releasing this Wednesday to a comic book store near you. Even if that near you is online at infinityflux.net.
Hooray!
They are up there right now for you to order. That way, when they release on Wednesday, you don't have to worry about them selling out. They will be on their way to you, or if you shop locally, they'll be in your pull box ready for you to pick up.
And speaking of the website, we still have some bundles of the free Comic Book Day books. We still have some of your books signed and remarked. So if you missed out on any free Comic Book Day books, or if you want to get Andy's book from Free Comic Book Day, all of that is still on the website for your buying pleasure.
Pleasure. Well, this is a big week for comics. Not only in caliber, number, it's a big week, so you've picked a good week to watch this video.
That's right.
Because, I mean, we're going to start off with one that I would fight Matt, Fat Mike.
Yeah, fat Matt over here. Look, son, I'm working on it, okay?
I would fight Matt to talk about, but we've come to agreement that he can do it, but I will interrupt constantly. So let's get into one of the biggest releases of the year, maybe of the last couple of years.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
This is a thing that's been long anticipated.
Yeah, so this is Battle Beast #1, or Invincible Universe Battle Beast #1. This is written by Robert Kirkman, and the art is by Ryan Ottley. Your original creative, well, not your, technically not original creative team, but like your most creative team, mostly the creative team on Invincible. And this this is definitely one of my favorite books of the year so far. We've also read issue #2 as well,
which we think is even better.
It's even better. Not to downplay this one. We're just saying that it gets even better than this. Like if I could give something 6 stars, I would. So I've had a lot of questions about this leading up to this. Is this a sequel, a prequel? What is it? So this actually takes place immediately following the big battle from Invincible #19, where we first saw Battle Beast. He fought Invincible. There's a whole bunch of other heroes and villains. They had that big battle in the skyscraper there. And at the end of that, Battle Beast kind of gets bored. He's like, I thought there would be more worthy opponents. I'm out of here. And he goes through like this glowing door. This issue picks up as he's coming through the other side of that door. So this series actually kind of runs parallel to Invincible, kind of off on its own thing, though. I've had some questions too. Do I need to know Invincible before I read this? Do I need to watch the show or whatever? You don't need to really know anything. Because this does take place in the same universe, obviously, but it's its own completely separate thing. Battle Beast goes off on a whole other section of the galaxy while Invincible's going on over here. So it is its own unique, complete, separate story. And when he goes through that door, we see that he's aboard this ship whose entire crew he killed before going to that battle in the first place. And all that's left is him and the ship's computer. And he starts to tell the ship a little bit about his origin, how he has this unquenchable rage that made him leave his home because he thought that he might end up destroying his home because he's so thirsty for battle. And now his one and only goal in life is to find an opponent that is worthy of his rage and his strength, some opponent that could beat him and possibly even kill him. And that's his goal. And the ship's computer is like, well, I have an extensive database of the galaxy, and I can actually probably help you find a worthy opponent. And so that's about the first half of this book. I will say that they do approach one opponent, and I'm not going to tell you anything more than that because the whole back half of the book is just a big, giant fight. It's action-packed. It's bloody in the way that you would expect an Invincible book to be.
Invincible's violence level has always been like extreme, but kind of like tongue-in-cheek as well. People getting their eyeballs knocked out.
Right.
You know, it's so over the top that it's almost like comedic. How crazy it gets, and that is back for this series.
Right, and it's even, I would say, we'll get there, but issue #2. There's a lot of that kind of violence, probably even more over the top than this one is. So the whole back half of the book is just this big giant fight between Battle Beast and the opponent that the ship helps him find, and we'll leave it at that. but it's phenomenal. Like I love the character. I love the violence and the action. I think this may be Ryan Otley's best
Mm,
work to date. The it looks so beautiful. The colors
mm.
are insane. I mean, this is a 5 star, if not. I always say 5 star because League of Comic Geeks does 5 stars.
Uh-uh.
If I could have done 6 stars, I would
This is an S tier. There's like,
Yes. Yeah.
A through F
Yeah.
or
That
whatever,
is
but
a
this is
great.
S tier. It's in a league of its own.
Yes.
Um, as you've come to expect from this creative team, from Invincible,
Mm-hmm.
they haven't lost a step.
Right.
This feels like that, but with its own unique, kind of sci-fi blend on. It reminds me a little bit more of the later issues of Invincible that turn more sci-fi and all that,
Mm-hmm.
but capitalizing on Ryan Otley's ability to draw action, weird aliens,
Yes.
over the top everything, big monsters,
Mm-hmm.
all of that kind of stuff is this is created for that. Also, I know people still wonder, is this a mini series? No, this is an ongoing series.
Yep.
Robert Kirkman, we were on a retailer call with Robert Kirkman, Ryan Otley, the editors, all the people at Image, and they talked about like his approach to this is much like Void Rivals,
Mm-hmm.
where he's just writing it.
Yeah.
He doesn't necessarily have a destination. It's kind of wherever the story and the characters lead them, which I think that's great because that really leaves an opportunity. We do know the future of Battle Beast because he does return
Right.
in the Invincible book, but we don't know everything that led him there, and that is kind of wide open plains for them to play in.
Yeah.
You will be getting, it's not just Battle Beast. There's going to be supporting characters along the way. Um, they definitely play out in issue 2, which is so good. But
Yeah, I guess we can say like we are introduced to another character in this book that will be around for a while.
yeah,
That's in the second issue and beyond. So won't go too much further than that. But
but yeah, like when we talk about Battle Beast, he does seem like a very like a loner, singular
uh
character. But this is going to have its own cast of
yes,
characters
correct.
as well. They did give us hints to some stuff coming up in the future, so you can expand. You can expect this book to expand, just like Invincible did,
Yeah.
with characters and environments and villains and heroes and all that kind of stuff. In that same way. So
There's also there's also like a letter in the back from Robert Kirkman that just talks about the book and what it's going to be like and how it's going to change a little bit and that kind of thing. So definitely don't skip that either. That gives you a
yeah,
little tiny like peek into where this may go.
yeah. So much good we could say about this.
Hmm.
Invincible is already my favorite like comic series of all time, and to be able to get this by Kirkman and Otley just feels like something I didn't know I would ever get.
Right.
And hopefully, this is called Invincible Universe. We'd had Guardians of the Globe before all of that. If this is successful, maybe we'll get something else in the future.
Yeah.
There's so many characters to explore, but I am glad they went with Battle Beast because this is, the setup is simple. It's just a guy who wants to find the strongest guy and you know relieve some of that
Yeah.
just anger he has.
It's simple in the best way possible.
Yeah,
There's no frills. There's nothing too deep or weird. It's just that's Battle Beast just wants to fight somebody
yeah.
worthy of him.
And I think they know that's all you really want to see out of this
Yep.
is at least that level of action. So
Yeah, I really like how you said this is an S tier book. Like that's the perfect
yeah,
description of it. Definitely 1,000,000% one of the best books I've read all year long, and we have read a lot of books. It's only May, and we've already read so many books this year so far. This is definitely top 5, if not top 3. Like
yeah.
it's
And
so
issue number
good.
2, like we said, issue number 2 is incredible because this is it's set up. It is getting you kind of back familiar
Yeah,
with the character and the world. Issue number 2, you're in it. Like
yeah,
there's it's pedal to the metal. It's all out. And so if you like this one, you're gonna love issue number 2.
yeah. So this has our highest recommendation possible. Like
Mhm.
it's so like it's no frills, no hype. Like it really is as good as you hope it would be. We said it. I don't remember what we were talking about the other day, but we said like anything from Skybound, I feel like is a little bit more upper crust, like a little bit more quality,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what you get here. It's phenomenal. Like it's just everything about this is wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any, I mean, I feel like we could go on.
Superlatives.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. It's awesome. It's really cool. I love it. Yeah. So highest recommendation possible. So we have our A cover right here, and there's a lot of really cool
I was about to
variants.
say, there's plenty to talk about with the variants.
Oh,
as
for
well.
sure. So there's our David Finch variant. Looks really cool.
Which
have
also has some Invincible characters on it.
Oh
which
yeah,
is cool.
yeah. I should have, yeah.
Invincible
Try
and
to get that
Eve
focus
and
up a little
Monster
bit.
Girl, and I think Alan maybe is on there.
Yeah. We have the blank sketch variant. We have this mask variant, which the mask is like like a die cut thing, and like that, and on the back is the other side, so it's kind of like
So you have your Halloween costume for the year.
So you can rip this off and stick it to your face and wear it for Halloween and every other day of the year. Okay, now before we get to the incentives, we have to talk about the blind bag variant. So this is a poly bag right here. This is not the actual cover. This is a poly bag, and there you don't know what you're going to get in this, right? There is the potential to get an A cover, a B cover, or there's the potential to get a 1 in 10, or a 1 in 50, or a 1 in 100, or even maybe a 1 in 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
The 1 in 1,000, if you do get that, it's not going to be signed like the actual 1 in 1,000 is. And also, they were careful to tell us that the 1 in 1,000 is going to be very hard to get. Because
the ratio roughly works out to 1 in 1,000.
Yeah, because they don't want somebody to actually pay for the 1 in 1,000 straight up, and then a whole bunch of other people get it in the blind bag. So it will be extremely difficult to get the 1 in 1,000 out of this. There are also a couple of other covers that they still have not announced yet.
Oh, they did.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, Image officially announced them today.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, they got leaked. But I think it's still fun if you don't want to know what it is.
Yeah, we're not gonna.
But we'll say there's 3 surprise.
Right.
And I won't say variants. There's
Correct.
3 surprise things you can get.
Correct. They told us about them a couple months ago, and that made me instantly want to buy. I think I pre-ordered 10 of these just to try to get one of those extra special surprises. So we'll see. So yeah, I didn't know they gotten officially announced, but
yesterday, and then Image just went ahead and announced.
Was it bleeding cool?
Yeah.
Of course it was. Okay. But yeah, so blind bag, and the blind bags are $3.99. Is it
yeah, it's the same price as the regular cover. So they do tell you, like, hey, if you get a blind bag, make sure you get an A cover too, because you may not get an A cover.
Yeah, you may not get an A cover
in that one.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that you are able to get that book.
Yeah. So this feels like a 1 in 1,000. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. You can smell it.
I will say that the mask cover is not in this, because you would be able to tell, right?
Right.
So there's no mask cover in this.
That's the only variant that is separate, other than the signed copies.
Yeah, they did say that you had the chance to get a cover A, B, C, or D, and I was like, well, this is the C cover. Can you open this? And there's another blind bag inside. It's like a Russian nesting doll. So yeah, grab up some of these if you want the thrill of maybe getting something else. I ordered 10. You ordered 10 too, right?
I ordered 20.
You ordered 20 of them. Okay, wow. So yeah, it'll be really fun to open those up and see what it is.
We're thinking about maybe Wednesday doing a unbagging special.
Yeah,
that's kind of a fun idea we had. So maybe look out for that coming up Wednesday.
Yeah, so lots of fun. And again, just for same price as the regular A cover too. So good on you, Skybound, for that. And then we have our incentives. So we have the 1 in 10. Is that Ollie?
No,
that's I'm not sure who the artist is on this one. I should have looked it up. But that's the 1 in 10 that we're selling for $4.99.
That was the EJ Sue.
Oh, EJ Sue. Okay, great. We have the 1 in 25. Well, shoot, who's this one?
That is Kale New.
Kale. Oh yeah, I love this one. 1 in 25 that we're selling for $9.99.
These could also be in the blind bag.
Correct. They might be. Yeah, I actually really like this one a lot. I wouldn't mind grabbing that one. Yeah. So all of these incentives could possibly maybe be in the blind bag that you pick up. This is the 1 in 50.
Art Adams.
Art Adams. Oh my gosh. Yeah, for $19.99 as we're selling that one. Again, all of these may be in your blind bag. No guarantees though. and this is the 1 in 100
John Boy Myers.
John Boy Myers, and
Ooh.
this is kind of
it's a foil.
yeah. I mean, it's foil. It's almost kind of like a matte foil though.
Yeah.
It's not quite as shiny, but it looks really good. And we're selling that one for $39.99. Boy, I wouldn't mind getting that in my blind bag either. That holy cow. So yeah, just this is what
there could also be the blank cover.
Oh,
in
right,
the,
right.
Poly bag as well.
This is where comic books are just really really fun, because
Yeah.
it's like, this isn't even an event book, but it feels like an event
Yeah.
just because of how great, and all these covers, all these the blind bag and everything, and on top of that, it's an awesome comic book, right?
Yeah.
It would be one thing if it was like, the book's not so great, but at least we get some cool stuff. No, it's like the total package
Yeah.
across the board. So I could go on, but we have a couple other comics to talk about. But yes, Battle Beast #1 is every bit as awesome as you would hope it is.
Yes. Well, like you said, there is other books coming out this week. Starting with, for me, Supergirl #1. This is the new ongoing Supergirl series, written and drawn by Sophie Campbell. And you may recognize that name because she worked on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles before it rebooted with the Jason Aaron or
Jason Aaron.
Yeah, I was about to say it wasn't a reboot, but it was a
renumbering.
renumbering.
Yeah.
With the new one, but worked on that. So phenomenal creator there. And this is really cool. What I'll say at the top that I really like about this is this does feel like a very Supergirl personal story. It doesn't immediately start off with her, going up against like Lex Luthor or something like that. This is a Supergirl centric story that really delves into her as a person because she's an awesome hero. She's saving people in Metropolis, and also she goes into the Fortress of Solitude, and she has a way to shrink down to Kandor,
Yeah.
and help people out there, which is like, okay, that's a cool, she goes there and stops a car from running into somebody.
Yeah, I thought that felt very Silver Age to me.
That's the feeling I got, yeah.
Which is awesome, which I love. Like, oh, this feels like a great Silver Age book. I want more of this. Yeah.
But something keeps happening when she does that. People are like specifically in Kandor, little girls like, Supergirl, I love you. You're so much better than Superman. And she's like, why do you keep comparing us? And that happens over and over where people say, oh, I like Superman more than Supergirl. I like Supergirl more than Superman. And this is definitely like she can't escape the shadow of her cousin. And she's feeling a little down about this and kind of definitely trying to feel out her place among all the super people that are around. But she does get a call from her mom because she was raised in Midvale, which is kind of like a Smallville like town where she was raised when she was younger. And her parents got the house renovated and they want her to come visit. And she's like, okay, it's a small, sleepy town. It's not like this big metropolis, but okay, I can go there. But something happens when she goes there. She discovers, which it is really fun, another very Silver Age thing, to turn into Linda Danvers, her alter ego. She has a brush that when she brushes her hair, it turns her hair brown, which feels very Silver Age. When she gets there, only to discover Supergirl is already there. How can this be? Kara is Supergirl. Well, it seems like the town is obsessed with Supergirl, who has been heroing around there for a little while now. She's very freaked out by this, and it seems like someone is claiming that they're Supergirl and that Kara Supergirl is the poser Supergirl. So some interesting stuff happens. I don't want to give it away. That's just kind of like 2/3 of the book.
Yeah, and I like that the Supergirl that has been there, that's claiming to be Supergirl, doesn't look like this.
It's not like a Bizarro thing or a doppelganger type thing. She does look different.
Yeah, because otherwise it would get like you would be waiting for, when's the inevitable fight of you don't know which one's which. No, they look different. They do look different. Yeah.
But it seems like maybe even people closest to Kara are saying that the other one is Supergirl.
Yeah, there's definitely a mystery there too, which I was really.
And she does confront this other Supergirl, and some weird stuff happens. I'm really interested to see what's going to go on in this first issue. It's really fun. It does feel I just think overall it does feel very Silver Age, where it's like some wacky stuff, not in a bad way, but like the gadgets and the science and all that kind of stuff. Plus this very it's a bright book.
Yeah, the artwork in it, it's a little bit more, I don't want to say like cartoony, like that, because it's not bad. It's just a little bit more stylized
Mm-hmm.
than what we've had with Supergirl for a while. The story also feels a lot more grounded
Mm-hmm.
than what we've seen of Supergirl recently, especially, was it the Action Comics backups where she was like out in space doing stuff?
Yeah.
This is the complete opposite from that. But don't let because I thought, well, maybe I'm not the target audience for this, but after I read it, I was like, I'm really into this mystery. I want
Yeah.
to find out what the heck is going on, because it's more than just, there's a Supergirl here, but I'm Supergirl. What's up with that? There's more of a mystery than
Yeah.
just that. Like, I was into this, so I really want to find out what happens.
I could so see this as a Silver Age cover where Supergirl's like,
Yeah,
and it's like,
yeah.
wait, I thought I was Supergirl
Yeah,
with another
yeah.
Supergirl standing there. Like, it kind of has that feel.
Yeah.
But I also love, like, Supergirl in this. Kara feels like, I don't know, a real girl. You see her
Mhm.
messy room. You see
Yeah.
her, like, it's deeper than a Silver Age book with her
Right.
personality and her personal life and her feelings and all of that.
I guess it was just a perfect combination of a modern book, but also Silver Age fun.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
everything about it worked for me.
And that's what we're loving about DC right now is everything, no matter how dire it gets or whatever, has this coating of fun
Yeah.
over it that makes it feel adventurous
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
like you want to read it, you want to see
Yeah.
what happens next.
Oh, I instantly wanted the next issue
Yeah.
after this, for sure.
So here's your A cover. That is Sophie Campbell. That's what the interior of the book looks like. Although there are backgrounds in the issue, she doesn't just float around in an empty white void.
Right.
Plus, we have some phenomenal variants. And what's a cool thing about this is the Art Germ variant. And Art Germ actually designed Supergirl's new costume. So it looks like this. It's way more classic Supergirl. Yeah. It's not like her new 52 where it's like this armor or whatever. She looks like your classic Supergirl. So there is your Art Germ cover. We also have this beautiful Villalobos cover, which I love the kind of super heroics on that, the cape. We have a foil Art Germ variant. We have this, Nicholas Scott. This is actually the Superman for the movie Superman variant cover they're going to be doing for a bunch of books with your David Corn Sweat Superman on the cover. We have a blank sketch cover to draw your own empty void. Look, it's already done.
Wow.
And we also have this 1 in 50 Scott Forbes variant we're selling for $34.99, which is really nice.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with this. I was really, really into it the whole time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we also have Gwenpool #1. This is a new book from Marvel. This is written by Kevin Scott and the art is by Stefano Nessi. Now, when Marvel first announced this book back in February,
you were gung-ho about it.
Not really. They said they themselves, Marvel themselves, said that Spider-Man's first love, Gwen Stacy, was returning from the dead as a cold-blooded killer, like this Deadpool knockoff type of thing.
And they even showed like the grave had been dug up of Gwen Stacy.
Well, yeah, we'll see that on the cover in a second. And I instantly thought, come on, guys, this is like the worst idea you've ever had. However, now that I've read the book, I will say that I kind of into it, So the first few pages of this book are pretty much this right here, where we see whoever this character is. We see her like taking out some soldiers. It looks like maybe it's like a training thing, and there's this voice talking to her on an intercom. We don't really know who it is, but it's kind of guiding her. I will say that that voice does call her Gwenpool, and she says, "Do not ever call me that."
Yeah.
So that's why I say this character, because she doesn't want to be called Gwenpool. I'm still not convinced that it's the original Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
We do not get confirmation either way in this issue. I'll tell you that much. But then cut to Spider-Man and a couple of other heroes. I won't tell you who. They're fighting a villain who is very large. Literally, like physically very large. I'll say that. And things are not going well because it looks like a lot of the other heroes have been taken out already. And things are looking pretty bleak until actual Gwenpool shows up. The Gwenpool, that Gwenpool, she actually shows up and helps Spider-Man and these two other heroes. And it's not long before Spider-Man and Gwenpool actually run into this character right here. and there's a big fight basically because characters always have to fight the first time they meet if they're heroes or villains or whatever. And there's a bit of a surprise at the end. I won't tell you too much about it, but after reading this, I was like, okay, I'm actually kind of interested because one, I do want to know, is this really the actual original Gwen Stacy? Like I said, there's no confirmation either way. Marvel back in February said that it was, but if you think back to All New Venom, Marvel also said that the All New Venom was going to be one of 4 different characters, and it ended up being none of those characters.
Yeah.
So Marvel likes to straight up lie to us sometimes. So I'm not convinced that it actually is the real Gwen Stacy. We do see this character without her mask. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I don't know.
It is interesting that if you are bringing the original Gwen Stacy back, I will say there's nothing in here Deadpool related.
Correct.
So it feels weird that she would come back and they would like suit her up as Gwenpool or anything like that. It I don't know what the association between this one and Gwenpool, who, if you know Gwenpool, she's not Gwen Stacy.
Not Gwen Stacy, no.
So it feels weird. Like, what's the connection between these two? I'll say as much as like Gwenpool can be played as kind of annoying or whatever, she's extra.
Yeah.
I actually thought a lot of the stuff she was saying is really fun because she is aware that she's in a comic,
right,
and she does that to a pretty fun effect in here.
But that's a good point. There is no Deadpool in this. There's no Deadpool connection, at least in this first issue.
Yeah.
There's nothing Deadpool at all. So we have this mystery of who the heck is this? Is this really Gwen Stacy? Is it not? We do not know in this. But there's also something else that is triggering Spider-Man's spider sense to the point he says, I've never felt anything like this before. So there's something, it seems like there's something
it's kind
else.
Of a crippling, like he's
like I can't
do
even
anything when it happens.
So it feels like there's something even bigger, an even bigger mystery going on. And it's that kind of thing that I really like. It keeps me coming back for more. I want to know, is this really Gwen Stacy? Is it not? What is this thing that is like crippling Spider-Man? I don't know, but I want to find out. So after reading this, I was like, okay, Marvel, you've got my attention, and I'm going to keep reading for a little bit just to see what the heck is going on because I don't know. So
is this a miniseries or
I'm not sure.
It feels like a miniseries. I don't think it's ongoing, but
I don't know.
See.
So yeah, lots of mystery, but I like that. I like having keep coming back and like, hey, reveal little bits at a time as I'm reading.
The art was good.
The art was good.
There's some fun, familiar faces that pop up in here as well.
Yeah. So after reading it, I was into it. Whereas 3 months ago, I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But I read it, and I was like, okay, fair enough. I'm on board. So we have our A cover right here, and we have some variants. We have this Ji-Hyung Lee variant. Well, that's your actual Gwenpool right there, and she is in this. We have the Todd Knock Gwenpool variant. And this is the cover. This is the Paco Medina cover. This is the first thing that Marvel showed us. Was like, wait a minute, that's Gwen Stacy's grave. Who is this shadowy figure supposedly digging up the grave? Again, we don't know. We do not get any answers in this whatsoever, just lots of questions. And we have this 1 in 25 Godtail variant that we're selling for $19.99. I really like that. I'm not the biggest Gwenpool fan, but I really like that cover.
I really liked her last series, the Gwenpool. It kind of like ended her story where she was trying to get her series renewed.
Oh yeah,
that was a really fun series with like Terry Dodson working on that and everything.
Oh yeah,
that was really good. So that's why when this came out, I was like, okay, yeah, I want to give it a try. And yeah, I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah, it was all right.
Well, next up, we have another big one this week. So many of these books could have been our top pick.
Oh my gosh!
So all these first ones are all kind of equally as big, other than Battle Beast is extra big.
Speaking of,
yeah,
we'll get to this one in a second.
So this is Exquisite Corpses #1. This is by James Tynion and Michael Walsh. They've been teasing this for a long time with this logo. This like little jack-o'-lantern logo has been teased on social media and stuff. Not really knowing what it was leading to. And then they announced this, which it was like, wait, but what is that?
Yeah.
This is really cool. So Our first issue here, I believe, is a triple-sized issue. I think that's what I remember them originally
I'm
saying.
pretty sure it is, and it's $4.99, but you get a lot
Yeah,
for
like
that $4.99.
this is a. Sometimes we're always like, oh, that could have used another issue or
Yeah,
whatever. This can breathe and explain everything and cover multiple characters and everything
yeah,
in a really cool way. So we're introduced initially to this place called Oak Valley. It's a very like quaint little kind of country-ish town. Um, we get introduced to some of the people who live there, the sheriff, the guy who works at the gas station that's all into conspiracy theories. Um, and it's Halloween night. So, we've got people talking about going out and trick or treating. I won't get too much into like all the characters because that's kind of one of the best parts to discover is the relationships and uh, who knows what, that kind
yeah.
of thing. But you can some things in the town have been happening for a day or so that seem weird. Some black vans have been coming in, and it seems like they can definitely tell like these people are not from around
Yeah, yeah.
here. Well, that's because something is about to go down, and that's where we find out the big story. So we learn of the 13 families. This is at another undisclosed location. 13 families who apparently have been ruling the United States since 1700, like
This is 1775. Yeah,
1775.
I think
Yeah,
they said it's like the 13 richest families
and they
in the
kind of
world or something.
represent the 13 colonies.
Right, right.
So they're like all those people you see on TV and all that. They're all just actors, basically.
Yeah.
We're the ones really running everything behind the scenes, and because they kind of get along, they do take turns every 5 years running the country. But how do they determine who's going to do it next? Well, that's where this story comes into play. Because every 5 years on Halloween, they have a contest where they each, I guess the previous year, draw a card.
Right.
The previous 5 years, they draw a card and it's got a weapon on it. It could be a rope or it's almost very clue-like. The
Yeah,
things
there's a
they could be.
knife and a gun and a
Yeah.
sword, I think, and
Or just like fists.
yeah, right.
So they get those, and for the next 5 years, they have to find someone to represent them in a battle that lasts on Halloween night. And the people they pick are kind of like your classic. They're not supernatural, but they're very like movie slasher characters.
It made me think of characters from Twisted Metal,
Okay, yeah.
kind of, like they're just like crazy over the top, almost like cartoony characters.
Yeah.
They each specialize in a weapon, and it's not like, but they're like they find like cold-blooded killers
Yeah,
to do
yeah.
this for them.
And they have their ways of I mean basically money can get them out of prison,
Yeah.
get them whatever. And there's other perks to them winning as well that kind of convince them to enter into this battle. But it also takes place different places every 5 years, and this time it's in Oak Valley. So we get introduced to the representatives from the families of the 13 colonies, and we learn a little bit about the people they picked to
Yeah.
represent them in this fight and see them get dropped off.
And that's one of the good reasons that this is triple sized, because we meet all 12 killers, we
Mhm.
meet all 13 families, and they need all those extra pages to introduce us to everybody and set the stage.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of action in this, but everything is set up so that when issue 2 comes around, we can
Yeah.
just hit the ground running.
So, so you get introduced to all those. It's really cool. It's very colorful. They have very like you're playing like new character enters the thing.
Right,
And they
right.
have like a
Yeah.
stylized thing, and it says who they are.
Yeah.
I said this on our short video. It gives me a lot of Dead by Daylight vibes of the kind of the location and the characters and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, this was really cool, especially, like you said, you get plenty of information. You don't feel like, oh, there's going to be another issue of setup. This covers everything. So, yeah, in the next one, you can get into it.
But you get a lot of information, but it's not like the Free Planet book that I talked about last week, where it's just too much. The story is pretty simple, but there's just a lot of characters, a lot of these killers. And yeah, like you said, we get like a splash page of like their character select screen and what they look like. So it's a simple story, but it tells us everything we need to know.
Yeah, and apparently this is going to be 13 issues, and different creative teams are going to be on. I think James Tynion and Michael Walsh are overseeing the whole thing, and I don't know if they're writing every issue, but I do know other creators are going to be coming on board to kind of pit the different characters against each other.
Yeah.
You do even get a bracket board in this.
Right, right, yeah.
I could
cool.
imagine you could go online and print out and like fill out your own
that would be
bracket.
cool. That would
stuff.
be fun.
But I don't know if like they're giving the creators like full reign to have whatever killer kill whatever killer. But I think this is really cool, and if anything, this is a great beginning to one of those things. James Tynion puts out high quality books.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very well thought out, very creative. And yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes.
Yeah, if Battle Beast had not come out this week, this probably would have been my pick of the week because the story is so cool. And the thing about the towns that they get dropped in is the people running the show, they block off all communication.
Yeah.
They shut down all the roads. So the town is basically metaphorically like walled off from the rest of the world. And the people who live in this town have no idea that it's going on.
Yeah.
And they may end up becoming collateral damage because they're like, oh, weird, my cell phone doesn't work. What's going on? And, there's going to be these 12 killers running around their town. And heaven help anybody who gets in their way, because these are not like superheroes. It's like, get behind me while I fight this guy. No, they'll kill anybody who gets in their way so that they can win.
Yeah, and we talked a lot about the kind of the 13 families part of it. Most of the book, I would say, is about the people in the town and setting them up as characters as well. And there is other stuff going on. Some of the colonies have been thinking about this, 4 or 5 years, and they think they have, maybe a ace up their sleeve that's going to give them an advantage. In particular, one thing that's going to be maybe our point of view for some of this. It's really cool. But I don't want to get into any more. This is an awesome book. Definitely check it out. It's very mature. It's very violent, but it's also just a really, really cool.
It's really good.
Yeah,
it's really good.
New setup for a series. So there's your A cover. That is, I think they're just called like the Fox Mask.
Yeah, that's one of your 12 killers right there. Yeah,
a very like iconic one. So that's your A cover. And we've got some great covers. I'll explain a little bit as we go through them about them. So we've got a Jenny Frison cover with that character as well. Now this is the polybag variant. That is because this comes with a card in it of one of the 12 killer characters. Now what's cool about that is they do tease at the end of it, there's going to be a game coming out, and these cards work with the game.
I completely missed that. Really?
And there's a back ad in it that
talks
about...
Oh my gosh.
So the cards aren't just like trading cards. It has like stats on them, like their attack, their health, all that kind of thing. And yeah, there's going to be a game related to this coming up. And you can get the card for the game. Yeah, flip to the... Right here. So you start collecting your killers now.
Huh.
And so that's what the card looks like, and it's got their attack and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, like a card game.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm talking about like a video game.
No, a card game.
Okay.
But you don't want to miss out on that. If you want to get all of them, you got to start with number 1.
That's really cool. I completely missed this.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that as well. That when I heard it as a card, I was like, that's cool, but I've seen the cards before. But then it's like, oh no, it's part of a bigger thing.
Yeah.
This is your Stoko variant. That's another one of the characters that you'll definitely want to learn more about. We have a blank sketch variant. We have this Alex Ekman variant with that character is really messed up. That is our 1 in 25. They were selling for $19.99. And we also have a 1 in 50 Malavia cover. They were selling for $34.99.
Yeah, that one's
great books this week.
Holy cow! Like I think we've only talked about like 3 or 4 books, and we're like 30.
We're gonna go rapid fire through some.
Yeah,
of these.
but we can't help it, man. There are some really, really awesome books coming out this week, including.
I'll just skim through Absolute Batman. No one cares about that.
Yeah, One World Under Doom number 4. Holy cow! This may be my favorite issue of this event so far, because this entire issue is one giant fight between Doctor Doom and Dormammu. At the very, very beginning of the issue, this is not a spoiler. The solicitation mentioned it too. It happens in the first couple pages. Dormammu zaps every hero off into a pocket dimension so that they can't interfere. He zaps away everybody who thinks may get in his way, leaving only Doctor Doom to defend the planet against Dormammu. And the entire thing, like I said, is one big action-packed magical fight. They each go back and forth getting the upper hand on each other. Doom pulls out some crazy stuff with magic that he says Strange would have never thought to do, or maybe was too scared to do with the magic that he had at his disposal. Dormammu is able to counter some of that. It's awesome. The colors are amazing. The artwork, the action, everything about it is so cool. And Doctor Doom at one point acts in a way that I'm not sure I've ever seen Doom act before. He has a thought in his mind near the end of the book, and I'm like, I've never seen Doctor Doom feel this way before. I mean, that's really all I have to say. Like, it's just like one giant fight every single page,
and it's not just like blast and then blast back. They each kind of, since they're magic, they each try different things out.
Right.
And Doom does some stuff that's just like, oh, that's cool. Like,
yeah, and they're each like a couple steps ahead. Doom will cast a spell, but it won't come into play until later.
Yeah.
It's very, very well done. Like, wow. I don't know. That's all I have to say. We'll speed round through some of these, but yeah, very, very awesome issue of One World Under Doom. I am continuing to love this event. Like, the tie-ins, which we'll talk about. Like, everything has been really good so far. So this is our A cover right here. We have this 80 Granov variant of Doom right there. We have this Alex Ross Timeless variant. Nighthawk is not in this, but he's on the cover here. And we have this 1 in 50 80 Granov
because he's on the cover.
Right.
He can't be in two places at once.
Or he's in the Pocket Universe.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
We have this 1 in 50 80 Granov Virgin variant that we're selling for $39.99. Really good stuff.
Well, next up for me, Absolute Batman number 8. I mean, when it's this far into the show and we're talking about Absolute Batman, it's a big week.
Uh-huh.
So this is the second part of Absolute Zero, the Mr. Freeze story. That's kind of a little bit of an interlude, but still very important to the overall story of our Absolute Batman. Mr. Freeze has Bruce basically in one of his freeze pods, and it's not looking good because, we find out that Bruce won't be the first person that Mr. Freeze has frozen. And when this starts to happen, Bruce has some flashbacks, and we actually learn... I thought we kind of knew everything about Matches Malone going into this one.
Right.
In the Absolute Universe. But no, he actually played a very key part in Bruce Wayne's history and in the kind of formation of Batman that is... wildly different than the 616 version of Batman.
Wait.
I know. And it's the only way I can think of it. Earth Prime, whatever you want to call it. The regular version of Batman.
Actually, that's Marvel.
Yeah, please, come at me with your what the worlds are called. But it is really interesting that, this Matches Malone character in here is a very pivotal part in this story that, when this started, we didn't even know that was going to be a character involved in it. So that's really cool. Also, there is some Batman in this. There's some really cool stuff. More gadgets we find out that Batman has that come in just in the nick of time. And I'll say that this doesn't have everything tied up with a bow at the end.
Right. Because this is like you said it was a second of a 2-part little mini story arc. But it's not over at the end. Yeah.
Yeah. There's some of this that I believe is going to come back into play later. But it is said, at the end of this, your next issue, Bane.
Yeah.
So we do know, we're getting the Bane story coming. But we may have not seen the last of what's going on in this issue.
Yeah, there's definitely some seeds planted for some more things to come. The ending of this issue I kind of broke my heart a little bit, where I think it may go. I was like, no, don't do that, so...
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. The last bit of this is definitely... I won't go into it, but yes, it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
So, a great issue of Absolute Batman. But I'm excited to get back to the current what's going on in the next issue because I'm really excited about the Bane story.
Sure, absolutely.
So
golly, so
there's
good.
your A cover. We also have this Bruno Redondo cover, which is really cool. We have this, which gives me very Batman the Animated Series vibes, probably because of the red sky or red background. This is the Marcos Martin cover. We also have this Brian Boland cover, which I don't know if he ever gets that kind of creepy Wendigo looking, but pretty close.
Yeah.
Then we have our 1 in 25 Ramon Villalobos variant that we're selling for. It's a 1 in 25. We're selling for $12.99. And we have a 1 in 50 Yannick Paquette variant we're selling for $24.99.
So many awesome books
out
this week, and we're still not done. All right, so I'm going to talk about Green Lantern Corps number 4 because this is my favorite issue of this series so far as well. In this one, we kind of get two stories, not like a complete separation, but there's two different things going on in this book. The first one, or one of them anyway, is Guy Gardner. He begins training a new Green Lantern, this little cute-looking, kind of like anthropomorphic lion-looking creature named Narf. He's kind of like Snarf from the Thundercats. He's about that tall, and he's very timid. He doesn't really know what he's doing yet, but I think that he might have a big secret. I don't know for sure because we don't see anything like that in this, but there is something that's mentioned, and there's a couple things mentioned, and I really want to know. Like, he's super cute. I want to know more about him. Guy Gardner, training new lanterns is really cool because he's like, you just keep your mouth shut and just follow and do everything I do, that kind of thing. So they travel to this place called Necrocopia, which is a dead Starro that has been converted into a giant space city. It's a lot like Nowhere in Marvel that was the head of a dead Celestial. It's kind of like that. There they confront the villain known as Evil Star so that they can get information about the villain known as Starbreaker, who Hal Jordan and Kyle Rayner and those guys have been dealing with over in the mainline or over in the Green Lantern book. So that was some nice connective tissue there. So it was really cool to see Guy Gardner and Narf do all this stuff. And then we also get Simon Baz and Kelly and Ellie. They also go to Necrocopia, but they go on their own. Looking for a psionic battery for Kelly because it's her birthday and she needs it for something. I'm not quite sure what. But they also run into some big trouble. And I think next issue, like both stories may converge because they're both in Necrocopia, but they're doing different things. But I think they come together next issue. It was just really, really fun. The guy training Narf is really cool, and V. Ken Marion does the artwork in this, so it looks really, really cool. There's some cool action in the back half of this when Guy Gardner kind of runs his mouth a little bit as he does. Like, everything about this was just super fun, super cool Green Lantern story. So definitely don't miss this if you're buying this series. If you're a Green Lantern fan, you're gonna like this. And I do believe this is Narf's first appearance as well, and I can't wait to see if he really does have some kind of secret to him. So this is our A cover right here, and we also have this really cool Lucas Meyer variant with Kyle Rayner and a bunch of apes, a bunch of like robotic looking apes, but there's none of this happens in this issue.
Well, next up I have what we've been leading to for a while. This is Spider-Verse versus Venomverse number 1. And this is by Matt Groom, Kyle Higgins, and the art's by Luciano Vecchio. And this is what our what was the Spider-Verse?
It was like Web of Spider-Verse and Venomverse New Blood or something.
Yeah. What those one-shots were leading to. Pulling together a team of champions for either side to go head-to-head. But we do learn in this why the Spider-Verse and the Venomverse are going to be going head-to-head. So when this starts, it starts in the regular universe. Spider-Man is out doing one of his little missions. He runs into Miles and Silk. All of a sudden, he disappears. It's because Peter Parker is the final champion for the Spider-Verse side of this fight. And he's there. I do like seeing the interaction between Peter and Spider-Ham because they're like, oh, what's up?
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're pulled into another one of these things. But But I will say what this book does initially start out with is comparing Spider-Man and Venom in uh like half of the dialogue box is white and half of it's black, and it's referring to both Spider-Man and Venom, but saying the same thing.
Yeah,
Which
it's really interesting because I've never really thought about how similar their stories are.
yeah, and it would show like panels of like, well, yeah, that happened to Spider-Man, but that also happened to Venom, and kind of
Yeah.
there's similarities. There is parts where it branches off a little bit and then comes back together, but you do, it's two sides of the same coin type thing. But as Spider-Man is chosen for this, we kind of learn the full story of the web of life and the hive mind of the Venom. Apparently, whatever plane they exist on, they're getting in each other's territory.
Yeah.
Now, I don't quite know how this is, but it's basically like there's too many Venoms and too many Spider-Men, and there can only be one. We've gotten too big, and now we're gonna have to deal with this.
Yeah, it's basically like there can only be one verse, either the Spider-Verse or the Venomverse. I don't quite, still don't quite understand why.
I don't understand why, because it's kind of an ethereal thing of like, well, you're getting in, we're starting to, hit each other, and it's like, but where are you?
I don't.
Like, what is this? Or literally Spider-Man bumping butts with Venoms because they can't move anymore? I'm not sure too much about that, but that's all to set up that these two are going to have to compete. But it's not just an all-out brawl. These two entities, one kind of looks like a heart made of web, and the other one is a brain made of venom goo, I guess. I don't know. Basically, tell all the combatants, because there's the Venom side too. We saw form in that one shot. There's going to be 3 contests, three rounds, and basically whoever wins out of these is going to be the last verse standing. And of course, you're going to come in conflict with the other side as you do this. There is a fun little twist on it because of the Venom we met in the Venom one shot. That is Eddie Brock, or is it Flash Thompson?
Eddie Brock.
Eddie Brock. Yeah. That he's maybe not too bad of a guy.
Yeah.
And so maybe he and Peter might have to work together on this. But it was interesting setup for this. It's definitely a setup issue because they barely get into the first contest. I will say this is a very wordy book. You will hit pages of just dialogue, like a 2-page spread, and it's just the heart and the brain talking.
There's like word balloons that start up here, and they actually like make an arc, and you have to read sort of the whole thing.
Yeah. Like when it's comparing the two sides, it's a lot of setup. Hopefully for the next issue they got that out of the way, and it's going to be all action. But I get it. They have a lot of explaining to do in this issue. The art was really good in this. The colors, it was really cool. But this will take you a little while to read because it's dense. But yeah, I'm really interested to see what is the outcome of this. Is one of these actually going to be wiped out?
No.
Who knows? But
so for me, it's like, okay, how are they going to stop one? I mean, how are they going to like win? How are they both going to win? Basically, yeah.
By only letting there be one Spider-Man and one Venom at the end.
I'm fine with that.
So here is your A cover. That looks a lot like the interior of the book. We also have some variants. We have a Greg Land variant. There's 2 of your combatants. The Viking Venom. It's really cool. We have our Lee Eric's cover. That's with your Prowler Spider-Man. We've got this beautiful Javier Guerin foil variant. You have to see this one in person, but just the webs are foil.
That does look really good.
Amazing. Yeah. We also have this Paco Medina 1 in 25. We're selling for $12.99. And we have a 1 in 50 that we are selling for $29.99 of the Greg Land cover. Venom's got me. I keep biting my tongue as I'm talking. So.
Well, I'm going to talk about Godzilla versus X-Men. This is our next in the Godzilla versus books. This is written by Fabian Nicieza, and the art is by Emilio Laso. And it's cool that Fabian Nicieza is writing this because this features the X-Men from the 90s. This takes place during that era. As Godzilla attacks the shipyard in Japan, and the X-Men offer to help. But they know they cannot defeat Godzilla one-on-one, so they come up with a really interesting plan. I won't tell you what it is, but it is very comic booky. It's very elaborate and very fantastical. You don't have this. I would tell you that the X-Men do not fight Godzilla like this right here. You don't have Wolverine jumping at him, going to stab him, and Cyclops shooting him. It's not like that. It's something different. But they soon learn why Godzilla is attacking this particular shipyard. And from then on, it's just a big giant battle. And maybe there's a couple of other giant beings, I'll say, that enter into the fray as well. Maybe it's not just all Godzilla and the X-Men, but yeah, it is. All of these are just a one shot. This is wrapped up by the time the thing is over. And yeah, so I just enjoyed being back with the '90s X-Men again. Professor X is there in his yellow hover chair, and Jean Grey and Cyclops and all that. So it felt nice to. It's like going home again. So this is our A cover right here, and we have this Lee Garbett variant. We have the Rivera variant. We've got the Iban Coelho variant. This is the Taran Clark variant. This is a really cool McCone foil variant. You can see the sort of the spot foil on that looks really good. Although we don't get this in the book. And this is the 1 in 25 Chris Campagna variant that we're selling for $14.99.
Next up, I want to talk about Star Wars Jedi Knights #3 because this is a really unique issue. Every page of this issue is a splash page, and it makes sense because in this, Obi-Wan is recounting a mission that him and Qui-Gon went on to save Bail Organa, who was his ship went down on this planet, this kind of not an undiscovered planet, but just kind of an unclassified planet. And soon they learn this planet is overrun with kaiju-sized alien monsters. They actually are called Kaijura.
Okay.
I like it's a mix of kaiju and Godzilla.
Yeah.
And yeah, so every page is big single page giantness as you see it attacking their ship and them having to being little tiny characters up against these big monsters. Really fun. It's just a done in one story that you can just read this, have a good time. I thought this was really, really cool and a very cool idea for this book. So yeah, I definitely recommend this one. This has been one of the most fun of this series that I've really enjoyed so far. So there is your A cover. We have our Qui-Gon lightsaber variant. And we have this 1 in 25 Sarah Pacelli cover that we're selling for $12.99.
Well, I've got I Was a Fashion School Serial Killer #2, and this book is still so fun. So Rennie, who is our main character, who is the fashion school serial killer, things are going really well for her in school. She's doing great in school. She's getting compliments from her teachers on her designs and things like that. Her friendship with Sophie is growing, and because she's always been kind of an introvert because she's a serial killer, but she's actually making friends and she feels comfortable with them too, which is really neat. So things with Sophie are going well. She's fitting in with some of the other students. She's actually going out to the movies with them and things like that. So everything's going great. But one day Sophie shows up at Rennie's apartment and crying because she says that some guys that she delivered food to, because she works part time as like a DoorDash, Uber Eats kind of thing. She delivered some food to these guys at this apartment, and they tried to pull her in and do bad things, but she was able to get away. And this doesn't sit well with Rennie, and she maybe takes matters into her own hands. And I'll remind you that she's a serial killer, and maybe you shouldn't let kids read the back half of the book. So,
just a side note.
Yeah, just a side note. I don't know if you picked up on that, but yeah. So very cool. And I want to see where it goes. She seems like she's doing great, but she's definitely got some stuff going on. So yeah, a really fun issue. We've got our A cover right here, and this is the oh, I didn't write it down. This is your. Both of these are from your interior artist, but I did not. I forgot the name, so I'm sorry
Those
about
are
that.
eyeballs.
Those are eyeballs. Yeah.
Next up, I've got a Red Hulk issue at #4. This continues to be an awesome book that maybe doesn't have a ton of Red Hulk in it, and usually that would frustrate me. But
Not this time.
it's still
Yeah, it's
awesome.
good.
Because you've got Thunderbolt Ross, Machine Man, and Deathlock are still trying to get away from all these Doom bots that are chasing them. We saw in the last issue them jump off this cliff into this freezing water. How are they going to survive that? But they do have a destination, which is kind of a nuclear power plant that Thunderbolt Ross is like, if I can get there, there's probably enough radiation and gamma to get Red Hulk back, and that will save us and get us out of here. But I'll say Doom is one step ahead of them, and don't underestimate how much power he has now.
Oh yeah,
insane amounts. So when they do get to a small town that's kind of built around this because there had to be workers and everything for it, um, they maybe have a crazy way of getting Red Hulk back if it doesn't kill General Ross first.
And Deathlock and Machine Man,
And
like,
yeah,
yeah,
and
right?
everyone in the area.
Yeah.
This was crazy. The last page is awesome. I love, this team is so weird of Deathlock and Ross. Even though Machine Man is kind of on the fritz for most
He's
of
just
it.
being dragged along, literally.
Literally, even like through the water, like his arm is stretching
Right,
really fast,
right.
he's smashing into rocks and all that. But where this one leaves off, the next one is going to be even crazier
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
So great issue. It's basically they've been on the run since issue 1.
Right, yeah.
They've been nonstop going.
I mean, I feel like it's all taken place in the span of just a few hours.
Yeah, if that.
Yeah.
So there is your A cover. We also have this awesome Ken Lashley variant. And this incredible, I got this one. This is the John Boy Myers variant.
That's so cool. Well, speaking of One World Under Doom tie-ins, I've got Thunderbolts Doomstrike number 4. This continues to be my favorite of the tie-ins. Like I said, the One World Under Doom event has been really fun, and most of the tie-ins have been really good too. So good on you, Marvel. So after the events of last issue, Doom has captured Bucky, Sharon Carter, and Songbird. And this kind of twisted. Doom has Bucky chained up in this like cellar in this dungeon kind of place, and he is torturing him by making him see. He puts these like magical things on his head and makes Bucky see the last moments of everyone in Shelbyville before it was destroyed back in the first issue.
Wow.
Which is really kind of twisted. And while that's going on, and he's got Sharon Carter and Songbird chained up elsewhere, but while that's going on, Black Widow is gathering help to mount a rescue attempt, and it includes one surprise character that I was very happy to see because we haven't seen that character in a little bit. So I was happy to see them show up and maybe help bust some of these guys out.
Night Thrasher.
I actually would have loved that. I love Night Thrasher. So yeah, another great tie-in. Like I'm really enjoying this event. So we have our A cover right here. And there's is the Alex Ross Timeless variant. That surprise character is not Monica Rambeau.
Well, next up, I got to talk about Aquaman number 5, which continues to be awesome. And I don't want to say this book was confusing, but it had a lot of lore when it started. And now that that's really starting to kind of spread out, you're really starting to get the gravity of this story. So Aquaman and his partners he's been with through these issues have snuck into a city, the city of the Blue, which is part of Dagon's domain, which is of course the big villain of this. And Aquaman's still looking for Mera and Atlantis, which is somewhere around here, presumably. But he's in the city is kind of made of like bubbles, but inside of him is dry land.
Yeah.
It is it's very Star Wars Episode 1 with the Gungans city. So what's really cool, Aquaman hears some commotion, and a person is kind of fighting off some of Dagon's guards. Now, I will say this character is their first appearance, but you know them, and I'll leave it at that. It's their first appearance.
Has that character never appeared in a DC comic before?
Probably at some point, but I don't think this iteration of them. But is very fitting for this world, and I hope they stay around because I'm like, that's cool.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
that this character just exists.
Yep.
So what he does learn, Aquaman learns, is he kind of breaks this up. He's still trying to stay kind of incognito, but this character has heard of Mara and knows where she is. But it's like we can't get there. But if I had my vehicle, we could get there. And Aquaman's like, well, where's that? And he's like, well, it's with the Magistrate, which are some of Dagon's, uppity ups. And he's like, well, how do we get to those? How do we get to them? And he's like, well, if you just cause a lot of ruckus, people get taken in front of them. And Aquaman's like, well, then let's cause some ruckus.
Yeah.
And there you go. You'll have to read it to see everything that happens. If you want to see Aquaman just really like ticking some guards off, it's really cool. And yeah, I love this, and I can't wait to see where the next issue goes because of where this one ends up. Is really, really cool. And yeah, I just love this issue and the new character that is introduced in it. So there is your A cover. John Timms, once again, killing it on art. Yep. Fantastic. We have this Takara variant. We've got this, I believe this is a Torque. Yeah, Elizabeth Torque variant. We have, I think, is this the first one we've seen of these? This is the Daniel D.
I don't think so. I get confused.
It's the everybody's wearing a Superman costume.
Yeah, I don't remember because we talked about so many on Comics from the Future. I get the videos confused. Have we seen it in person, or have we just talked about it on the other show?
I think at least this is one of the first ones we've seen, at least. And lastly, we have a 1 in 25 Fuccio variant. We're selling for $24.99.
All right, next I've got Daredevil number 21, and just want to talk about this one real quick. This is the second part of the brand new story arc that started last issue. I was not very high on the hog on the first 19 issues of this series, but starting with number 20 in the new story arc, I was really into it, and this is the next part of that. So Daredevil was looking for a girl who went missing last issue, and in this issue, he does find her. But there's something that's more sinister at play there, and he actually, once he saves the girl from where she is, he uses his senses, and it's really cool the way it's written. He's talking about his senses and how he's able to dial into what he's looking for, and he follows this fungus. You can see that on him.
I was wondering what that was.
Yeah, he follows this fungus back to its source and finds even more trouble there. And I'll leave it at that. Like, this is a much more grounded story than the first 19 issues of him exorcising demons and that kind of thing. The artwork, the artist's name is Jose Luis Suarez. And like Marvel put this guy on everything because like it almost looks like a 90s book, like with the way, like the artwork is so good. Daredevil's in his black armor. Like, this is just a really cool Daredevil story. I'm digging it. So we have our A cover right here, and we've got this Davila cover. Elektra does not show up in this book. We have the Alex Ross Timeless variant with Iron Fist. He does not show up either. And this is the Art of Marvel Television variant with your TV version of Daredevil.
Well, next up, I have Transformers number 20. It's issue 20, so it's going to be a big issue. Mm-hmm. And we know from the last issue, Megatron is back and looking to take his rightful place. Now, Megatron's a little weird right now. He's been through a lot. He's that kind of like cold, scary.
Yeah.
And he's ready to take his place, even though there may be some people already sitting in his leader of the Decepticons chair. So part of this is Megatron, and it says a nice like kind of duality of Megatron and how he deals with his people, and then you see Optimus and how he deals with the Autobots, and kind of like I mentioned this to you before we started filming. I love one of the strongest things I think in Transformers, and when they get it right, it's the kind of compassion of the Transformers characters. They may be robots, they may be all that, but Optimus Prime has a big heart.
Yeah. And
seeing this kind of slow down moment for him in here is really, really nice. I'll say there is a couple of new characters in this. maybe not all of them are even from the Transformers franchise that pop up. So
Maybe.
you'll have to check it out and see what that is. And it's a story that they're setting up that I think is really, really cool. And yeah, by the end of this, Megatron is truly scary, and you'll just have to see what he does. Megatron will make things better just so he can turn around and make them worse. Yep. And I can't wait to see, now that we've got the two heads of the Autobots and Decepticons, what's going to happen next. Keep reading to find out. There is your A cover. We also have our Corona variant, maybe some familiar faces on there. We have our 1 in 25 Howard Porter variant we're selling for $12.99. I'll say this kind of does happen in the book. I also want to mention what comes out this week, and I just have the variants here for this, but the Energon Universe 2025 special is coming out, and this is your free comic book day book. But in case you either missed it, or you want to get these other covers, or you just like to be a completionist and want everything, this is your free comic book day book, but you can pay for it.
Yeah. They just wanted to make sure that, because there's some important things in here, so they wanted to make sure that even if you missed it on Free Comic Book Day, you would still have a way to get it. But if you did get the Free Comic Book Day book and you're fine with that cover and everything, you do not need to buy this one because it's all the same stuff on the inside.
Yes. So this is your Daniel Warren Johnson cover, which is really fun. There's a lot of fun Easter eggs in that one. And this is your Andrea Milana cover, which might actually be your A cover. I'm not sure how it is.
I think maybe...
It's the first one on there.
Oh, yeah. I think it is.
You see that cover?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I need that one.
But yeah, that is also coming out this week as well.
All right. Well, my last one is Ultimate Black Panther number 16. And in this one, Black Panther and Storm confront the... I forget what it's called. The vibranium monster, basically. The vibranium consciousness that is now kind of in this big hulking character. I don't remember the name. But there's some good action there. And it tells T'Challa... what it's there to do, what its purpose is. And I kind of wonder if that will stay confined to this book, or if maybe it will mean something larger for the Ultimate Universe. I can see it going either way. But yeah, there's some good action in this one. Like I wasn't super high on this book in the early days either, but now this vibranium story is pretty interesting.
There's some good action in here.
Yeah, and they're learning more about vibranium. It's not just what it is in 616. There's more to it than that, and they're learning all about it here. So I'm into this storyline too. So this is our A cover, and we have this Rod Rice variant. And then we have this 1 in 25. I do not have the artist on this one. But this is the 1 in 25 that we're selling for $19.99.
Yeah, there's some interesting stuff that happens in there. It's like one of those, like, if this bad guy fulfills what he says he's going to do, it will require more people to
right,
deal
yeah.
with
What does that mean? What's it going to look like? Yeah.
Well, next up, we do have another new #1. This is Huck Big Bad World #1 by Mark Miller and Raphael Albuquerque. Huck, the first series from years ago, was one of my favorite Mark Miller books, and this was great. So Huck had a little appearance in the Big Game storyline for a little bit, but you don't need to know any of that to get into this one. It probably helps if you read the first Huck series to read this one. But Huck's mother is having dreams about how she got powers, which I don't remember if we saw in the original series, but it's really interesting. But for so long, she thought that her and her son were the only people with superpowers in this world. You know, her son is one of the kindest people. He's very much like Superboy or like Clark Kent, a very small town, and he wants to do one good deed every day, but his good deed is like rescuing people from a ship in a storm, and he can travel super fast. He's basically got Superman powers just without the flying and everything. But a mysterious man shows up on their porch and basically tells Huck's mom, like, y'all are not the only superpowered people in this universe. There are others that have been living in a community, but I would like to find them because one of them saved me a long time ago. And because of one of Huck's special abilities to be able to find people, he thinks that maybe he can help him on this. Do we trust this man? I don't know. But it was a fun first issue. Raphael Albuquerque's art is phenomenal. And yeah, if you haven't read the original Huck, I suggest it. I think it's a really, really good read. And this is a worthy sequel to that so far. So there is your A cover. And we also have a Jay Lee variant.
I'm done.
Oh,
I can talk about Battle Beast again. Yeah,
again?
that's fine.
I've got two more I'm going to briefly mention. We've got Godzilla, Here There Be Aliens, which is kind of a... it is a sequel to Here There Be Dragons from a few years ago. There's like 2 volumes of that. This one is... this takes place so much later than those that it's like they're kind of referenced, but you don't have to worry about that too much. This is by Frank Thierry and Angel Hernandez, and it's set in 1954, whereas the other ones were set like 1600s or something like that. Yeah. It was about Sir Francis Drake and stuff, so it was set way before. In this one, there's a guy named Bob Jones who works for the government, and he's been doing research about there's this creature called Godzilla that they've only got one photo of. It's really blurry. And he's basically like, I think these monsters are going to be a problem. And the government's like, you don't even have any solid evidence that this exists. Especially in the 50s, you know, even if Godzilla showed up, people don't have, you know, cameras on their phones or anything like that. So there's very little evidence that he can provide about that. But he knows this is going to be a problem. But he's like, goes home basically is like, I'm going to get fired. Like, they basically laughed me out of that building. Until the next day, Godzilla attacks. Oh. And he's like, ha! And like,
perfect timing.
He even gets a call, and his boss is like, you better not be patting yourself on the back here. Whatever. But he's going to go back into work, except for he gets intercepted along the way by a black limousine that's full of very, like, Men in Black secret agents, and someone in there informs him, like, hey, even the people you think you're working for, it goes way deeper than that, and there's some weird stuff going on, and because of your research, we're going to pull you into this. And basically learns that, hey, there's about to be an alien invasion along with Godzilla, and you're going to be needed for this. And it's kind of like opens up the door into this much deeper world of craziness that he didn't even realize. And there is a relation between the aliens and Godzilla and some other familiar Godzilla characters. You'll have to read it to find out. But yeah, a fun first issue of this. You can put Godzilla up against anything and it works.
Oh, yeah.
So this is just another really fun one. You don't have to read the previous series. You can jump right into this one.
You could even put him up against the X-Men and it would work.
I don't think that one.
Nah, bro.
So there is cover A. That's the only cover I have currently. And I also just want to mention Ultimate X-Men number 15 came out. Once again, I read it. I didn't really understand it, but I know there's a lot of fans out there, and I want to let you know that the next issue of that is coming out. So we've got our A cover there. We have a Stan Sakai variant. And we have, I believe this is a Kyle Hotz variant as well, which that doesn't happen in here. But it would be interesting if it did. And I think that is it. Ooh, there was a lot of books this week, but, I mean, we had to talk a lot about Battle Beast.
Oh, yeah.
And Exquisite Corpses, and Supergirl, and yeah, just some awesome books coming out this week that you don't want to miss out on. So, again, if you're still watching this, if you're still here, head on over to infinityflux.net right now. Place your orders for them. They are live on the website now. Some great variants. Don't miss out on, if you want to get all those cards for Exquisite Corpses, you got to start with number 1. If you want to get some blind bags for Battle Beast, go ahead and order them. Sky's the limit. Keep ordering them till you can't order anymore, because there's some good stuff in there. And like we always say, if you haven't liked and subscribed to us, go ahead and do that. If you like the content we make, if you like good news about comics and talk about how much we love comics and share that love, let us know in the comments let us know in the comments about your comic ideas.
That's right.
Let us know what you're excited about. Once you read them, let us know what you think about the books this week. Stay tuned for our stuff coming up on Wednesday. We'll be going over some of the comics you can pre-order before the end of the week, so you don't miss out on those. Like I said, we think we're going to try to also do where we unbag some Battle Beasts and watch us get 40 A covers or something like that.
Probably.
But some really fun stuff coming up very, very soon. So stay tuned for all of that. And until next time, my little battle kittens, bye.